Hey friends, welcome to Just Call Me Viv. Grab a coffee, pull up a chair, and let's talk. Hey friends, welcome back to Just Call Me Viv. So, there's this moment in every woman's life when she realizes I've spent years managing everything except my own desires. And maybe this year you stop dimming and start daring. So, I've been reading this book, The Audacity to Be Queen. It is fabulous. And it stirred something in me, which is this reminder that every woman has a divine right to her own time and her own desires, her own joy. Not in a flashy, performative way. We're not performing, we're not masking, but in a deeply personal and anchored way. So today I want to talk about giving yourself permission to want more in your life. More ease, more beauty, more creativity, more joy, not because you're trying to prove something, but because you're finally ready to belong to yourself again. So you're giving back to yourself. And if this lands with you, please share it with a woman who's been carrying way too much alone. So, not surprising, I'm a high achieving woman and I surround myself with many high achieving women. And so we understand and know responsibility intimately. We know how to show up for others. We know how to hold things together way longer, even after we're tired. And so, in this book in particular, and The Audacity to Be Queen, it makes a bold point about us, especially as high achieving women. Most of us have been living from our martyr energy for far too long, always giving, always fixing, always making sure that everyone else is okay, even when we're running on fumes and we're running out of steam. And in the book, Gina DeVee says something that really hit me like a bell. It really resonated. A queen never sacrifices herself. She chooses. And I felt that right here in my chest because so many of us were raised to really believe that sacrifice is noble. And if you're a Latina, even more so, I think that message resonated with me because sacrifice without replenishing becomes a slow kind of erasure of who you are, of your identity. And in this book, at least for me, it reminded me that we're not meant to be depleted. We're not meant to be resourced. We're meant to have support, to receive help, to have desires, and to honor them. And it's okay. And this is permission that so many women don't get early in life, even as we're, teenagers. Um, and so for me, reading this book really brought me back to my younger self growing in Puerto Rico. I was a really shy girl who didn't want much because she learned early that being easy or placating other people or pleasing other people made her lovable. And so I stayed really small for a very long time. And I love the theater. And I felt really safer playing a character than in my own skin. I was like being me, felt really uncomfortable. And the woman that I became, right, as a therapist, social worker, lawyer, the mother, a person who wears many hats, um, always dependable, always steady and reliable. Uh, it comes with a toll, I think. Um, but the queen archetype, as it's brought up in this book, reframed something for me that really just stood out. A queen isn't busy. She's really intentional about how she uses her time. She isn't trying to do it all. She's deciding what really actually matters. And that's a shift high achieving women really never get taught. In the book, there's also this invitation to dream without apology, not in a hustle way, but in an aligned way. Really, where your desires aren't indulgent, they're really guidance, and your longings are clues, and your cravings are messages. So it's really about listening to your intuition and what you're feeling. And your dreams are not random, they're sacred. They're a sacred direction of where you're going. And that's where sovereignty really begins. It begins when you stop waiting for permission to want more. It begins when you stop editing yourself to seem reasonable. In this podcast, I make a lot of mistakes, and I say a lot, and it's something that I'm working on, but I'm not polishing myself because this is who I truly am. So when you stop dimming yourself or your joy so that you avoid threatening others or making others uncomfortable, I think this is a calling to us as women, as queens. And when you stop shrinking your needs or your own desires because someone else labeled you as being too much. Queen energy is the energy of like, I'm choosing myself without guilt. I honor my desires without apology, and I let life support me instead of pushing me through everything alone. So when we talk about making room this year for either like being creative or wellness or nourishing meals or for relationships that make you feel alive, we're not I'm not talking about adding more to your life. We're shifting like an overhaul of your identity. I would say it's more about like making room and creating space, moving away from martyrdom, who overgives, who lacks boundaries, who's running on fumes, who's depleting herself, to the queen who allows herself to really receive. And so this book talks about rituals that support this. A morning moment that's just for you, a decision to treat your needs as non negotiable, and small daily pleasure that reminds you of who you really are. These rituals aren't about luxury, they're about being conscious. They remind you that your life belongs to you. My life belongs to me. And when that becomes your truth, space opens, time opens, and creativity opens. So relationships really deepen because you're not operating from a place of depletion, and your body softens because your tension softens because it feels cared for again. Small moments and big shifts. So if you take anything from this episode, let it be this: that you don't earn your desires. And we've talked about that a video ago. You honor them. You don't hustle your way into sovereignty. You choose it, and you don't have to become louder, just truer. Just as Gina Devi writes, a queen doesn't ask for permission. She receives guidance and follows it. So let this be the year that you return to yourself with softness, clarity, the quiet audacity to want more, not because you're missing anything in your life, but because you're finally done shrinking. So, if this episode helped you breathe a little deeper, please share it with a woman who's been forgetting her own power, and make sure that you're subscribed. We're spending this year reclaiming some beautiful pieces of ourselves. Thank you for being here. And until next time, please take care of yourself. Bye.